but we really believe it. We've got a great business model that can be very profitable and very rewarding. So, we are changing the lives of our franchise owners. Our services are meant to really make our customers feel and look beautiful and feel more empowered in their day. And so we want to change their lives that way. And then with our lash artists, we really try to help them feel like they're a part of the family. We employ and position them to make a good living for themselves. And for those that are interested in, some type of career path, we can even help them with that as well. So we'll definitely talk about that too.
Okay.
Um, the focus of our call today is for me, of course, to get to know you a little bit
Hmm.
better. And I know we talked the other day, so it helps me kind of understand, what's bringing you to be looking at an opportunity like this. And then I'll share a lot about our business model with you.
Okay.
Um, Feel free to ask questions as we go along, but a majority of your questions will probably be answered at some point during the webinar.
Okay.
So, as you may already know, a franchise is really nothing but a series of processes and systems that have proven over time that they work, and that's really what you're investing in when you buy a franchise. So, you know, someone has already developed, we've developed the infrastructure, at some point, along the way, we've made mistakes, put in processes because of the mistakes, so you don't have to go through that. And it's really also a way to get into business in a relatively short amount of time and start generating those revenues. Deka Lash is really big on culture, and we've worked really hard to create a culture that is very collaborative, communicative and cohesive. In fact, we call ourselves the Wolf Pack. So, really what that means for us is that we truly have each other's backs in this business. We have owners from every walk of life that you can imagine, and, we're just all bonded together by building this brand. And just an example I can give is that if you were a franchise owner with Deka Lash, I can tell you that if you picked up the phone and called another owner, they would stop whatever they're doing and take your call. And that's just the culture we have. It's why I'm with Deka Lash. I've never really experienced anything quite like it. And one thing is we do talk about return on culture just as much as we talk about return on investment. And we try to teach our franchise owners how to bring that culture right inside their studios to use it to maintain their clients and staff. Um, Another thing about Decalash is that we do have our own resale program. So, if we ever have an owner who wants to exit for any reason, maybe they're just done, running businesses, they want to do some traveling, whatever the reason is, we'll go find the candidate. We'll do all the legwork. We'll educate that candidate and make sure they have the right background and the right motivations and also the right funding. And then once that's determined, we introduce them to you, so you get to set your own price. You can do your own negotiating, but, we're just there with you with a templated letter of intent, a templated asset purchase agreement, and really just every step of the way, even including guidance through legalities, until you close the door for the last time. So I know you're not thinking about an exit strategy today. You're thinking more about a new path,
It's good
but
to know, though.
yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
people are just comforted knowing that there is an exit plan in
Yeah.
place for when and if that time does come. So today I'll tell you the story of Decalash and we'll talk about the industry itself, the business model, and then I'm going to point out some differentiators as we go. So, and like I said, I'd be pleased to answer any questions you have today as well. My goal is just really to be, transparent with you today about this business model and really what it takes to be successful in it.
Yeah.
Uh, And then once we get through that, if we feel like it's appropriate, we can talk about next steps.
Okay.
So, so I know that this graph starts in 2020, but let's go back to 2019. At that time, we were only 3 years old and we were growing really fast. We had gotten, all kinds of acknowledgments and reviews from Entrepreneur Magazine. And they said we were actually one of the fastest growing franchises, in the lash industry. And at that time, we had around 50 to 75 owners. We went into 2020 and we thought we'd have another spectacular year. but COVID hit in March and really the whole world changed. So in 2020, we were at $15.4 million. And just to be, again, transparent with you, the year before that, we were at 16, I think, 0.3. So we had lost about $1 million during that COVID year.
Okay.
But since then, we've really experienced nothing but growth. We doubled in 2021. And then as things started kind of regulating, we gained another 7 million in 2022.
Yep.
So, a little bit about our history. So, our history started in 2011. Our founders, Jennifer and Mike Blair, they're a younger couple. They, have 4 children. Actually, some people ask me, where did you come up with the name Deka? The founders, they have 2 daughters, and one's name is Demi, and the other one's name is Carly. So she took the first 2 letters of both of their names and came up with Deka.
Good.
So Jennifer was staying at home with the kids back then in 2011. Mike was on the road working. He actually is a graduate, has an MBA from Carnegie Mellon University. So he's really, he graduated from a world-renowned information systems and technology colleges. He is very tech savvy. And at that time, he worked with a lot of Fortune 500 companies, but Jennifer, had always kind of thought that when the kids get old enough, she wants to get out of the house and start a part-time business. So around that time that, she was thinking that, she thought, maybe I'll just do some teeth whitening services in a day spa. But Mike had a big birthday coming up. So him and his friends and family, they all decided to celebrate this big birthday. I think back in 2011, he was turning 40. And they decided they need to go to Vegas. So Jennifer decided to get eyelash extensions for the first time, and she just fell in love with them, immediately. So she was really adamant that when she got back to Pittsburgh, that's where, they live, and she decided she was going to maintain that look, but she found some trouble finding some, lash artists that would do them for her. And, some of the ones that she found said, I can come to your house, I'll bring a massage chair and we can do them in your home. And then, some people said, you can come to my house, lay down on my couch and I'll do them there. Just kind of odd, but none of them really had any certain processes or, a place for her to actually go to. So I think it's really what that, with that frustration that turned the light bulb on for her. And she thought, you know what, maybe this is the niche I should be focusing on. So she started to investigate training, and the best training she could find was based out of LA. And so they would be willing to fly to her to do the training if she, if enough people in her area were signed up for the training. And then, of course, she thought, okay, well, I'm going to need clients. Where am I going to get them? And so she had thought about Groupon. And Groupon, when she called them, suggested that she put out a coupon for a full set of lashes and 1 refill. So the way lashes work is that, the lash artist will adhere with a special glue a lash extension to your natural lash. And so depending on the look that you want, it could be, pretty dramatic, or it can be more of a classic set where it's lighter, it looks more natural, but, still gives that look of mascara. But then our natural lashes, they shed. We lose about 2 to 3 of our natural lashes a day. So in a couple weeks, the client will need to come back in to get a refill. And so the first appointment can take anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours for the full set. And then depending on what type of lashes you're getting, a refill can take a half hour to an hour long. So what Decalash has done is we have memberships. So that way the client can come back in every 2 weeks to get a refill, and all we do is run their credit card every month. So that's what makes this a recurring revenue business.
Okay.
So Jennifer agreed that Groupon should put out a coupon so she could get a couple dozen clients. And meanwhile, the company that was going to come and train her to do the lashes canceled the training class because not enough people had signed up for it. And then a day later, she found out Groupon sold out all the coupons. So, of course, she was very stressed, but she thought, all right, I need to get trained before people start booking, me. And she had sold about 300 coupons. So she owed about 600 services to 300 women. Well, Jennifer is very strategic, and luckily she has a mom and a best friend that loves her, and they signed up for the class. So that way this company had enough people in her area signed up and they would come. So she ended up getting trained. And she opened 2 spaces in a day spa. Her business was really off and running from the beginning. And so by 2013, so just a couple years later, she was out of the day spa. She had her own studio. And just 1 year later, in 2014, she had 4 studios in Pittsburgh. So the business grew pretty quickly. Um, so her and her husband had thought about, how can we continue to expand this business? And they had heard about franchising, but really didn't know enough. And they had a friend that introduced them to a franchise consultant who came to Pittsburgh. He liked them, loved the business model, and said, absolutely, we can franchise this. So they brought in more talent, more consultants from the franchise world. And anyway, some of that leadership is actually still our leadership today. So we started franchising in 2016. Our first owner was a litigation attorney who basically said, I don't want to litigate anymore. I feel like I'm working for the devil. And so he and his wife bought 3 studios in Salt Lake City, Utah. And then that first consultant that came in to help bought 3 studios in Denver, Colorado. So at that point, we were kind of off and running. Today, we have awarded 305 territories. And every territory that we put together has a certain, we look into the demographic, the female population between 25 and 54, the ages of 25 and 54. We want to see 75,000 average household income and above. And then we want to make sure that the women in the area are close enough to, for it to be a good drive, good driving distance for them. We don't want to see anyone be, too far away. So these are the things we look at, in a territory. Today we actually have over 140 open studios. So that's all across the U.S. We've got a couple over in Canada as well. And for those that are interested in, scaling or buying multiple studios, we have an area development agreement. And so basically, you just sign the area development agreement. It says I'll open 1 per year. So that's where we are today. Now, the beauty industry in general is really a booming industry. It's part of a $430 billion industry. And lashes have actually been the fastest growing segment in that beauty industry over the last 12 years. So, one of the things we learned during COVID is that, in a bad economy, and there's been studies on this, is that in a bad economy, a woman might not do something like put a down payment on a new vehicle or go purchase, that new couch she's been wanting, but she will always do without something in order to get her lashes done. That's just the way it works. And then, the other thing we learned during COVID is that, and I can vouch for this because I was, going through this myself, is that I wanted my hair colored. I've got my grays, got to cover my roots. I had to do it myself. If I wanted my nails done, I regularly get my nails done. I had to paint them myself, but I could not do my own eyelash extensions. That's got to be done by a trained professional. And our trained professionals are lash artists. They do come to us with a esthetician or a cosmetology license. But then once you hire them, we at Deka Lash will send a master lash artist to your location, to your studio, and we will train them. So we'll teach them our techniques. they'll become certified as a Deka Lash artist. It's a 3-day training. It's wonderful. We'll get more into that and talk more about that. But our goal is really to empower not just our customers, but we want to empower our lash artists and you as an owner, to really build that business. So how is it that Deka Lash has led the industry? Well, our strategy was really that we wanted lashes to be affordable the first time and affordable to maintain. And that's why we created our membership model. So it's not just a recurring revenue for you, but there are also different membership options for a customer to choose from based on their budget. We also provide these services in a beautiful location. So this is a smaller studio in this photo, and they all look similar, not, exact, but you can actually find a lot of images of Decalash studios, like if you Googled them
Yeah.
online, but this gives you an idea. So the sweet spot seems to be 6 lash beds, which is about a 1,200 square foot studio space. Some of our owners have 4 lash beds, some of them have 5. We've even had owners that have had up to 10. But, we're kind of finding that, between 5 and 6 is really the way to go. Our studios are going to be in strip malls. We want them to be in locations where women with disposable income are shopping, getting a yoga class, getting their hair or nails done, things like that. And, our goal was to, again, make this studio very economic. And so, you'll also see in this picture, there's no receptionist. So this is proprietary to Deka Lash. No other lash company does this. We don't need a receptionist because we have our own call center. So every studio has its own phone number. But when a customer calls in to book their appointment, it goes right to our call center. We'll answer questions, book appointments. Sometimes we'll even sell memberships for you. And the, goal for us was to reduce the cost for our owners. It's less overhead. It's $600 a month for this call center instead of having that full-time receptionist on staff. So what that means for you is that obviously the reduction in overhead, but also no ringing phones in the studios. It's nice and quiet. There's music that plays overhead. There is proprietary aromatherapy in the studios. We went through 14 different prototypes to find the right lash bed. You'd think it'd be easier than to have to deal with going through 14 different lash beds, but our goal was to obviously, you can see that it is shaped ergonomically to where, the feet are lifted higher. You're not laying flat on your back. There's wedges in the studios to put underneath the customer's legs. There's cozy blankets in there to cover them up and keep them nice and warm and cozy while they're getting their lashes done.
Yep.
To be totally honest, I fall asleep every time I get my lashes done. It is like so relaxing. So I love it. And it's also comfortable for the lash artist. They're bent over, they're lashing all day long. We needed them to be raised high enough to where it's comfortable for the lash artist and they're not like, they're not uncomfortable while they're doing the lashing. The so this is in many respects where Mike would say, Mike's our the founder who has a technology background. I would say we're actually a technology company that does lashes because we have a lot of technology available for our owners, and we'll definitely talk more about that to make your life easier. But we are founder driven. Our founders are still very involved in the business. They're hands-on. They still have a couple studios in Pittsburgh. We are also very consumer focused. We have an entire department focused on research and development. They're always paying attention to trends in the beauty industry and what our clients are asking for. We've had some great new additions to the services we provide because of that, and so we'll get into that too. And again, recurring predictable revenue is really what, this business is all about. So some of the things that this place has made sure that our owners have is data, metrics, reports, and all those KPIs you need to know how your business is doing at any given time. We track sales per payroll hour. We track clients as soon as they walk in the door. We know what kind of services they're getting, who we've converted from clients to memberships, what kind of memberships. And we also have our own proprietary branded Lash products that the lash artists will offer to your clients to help them maintain lashes between fills. So again, that's another revenue opportunity for you. So innovation has really been a very important part of Deka Lash. We did start as just eyelash extensions. And I'll be totally, again, transparent with you. Primarily, our revenues do come from our eyelash extensions. But we do offer other services as well. One thing we've kind of learned this year is that women love to get their eyelashes done, but they actually don't want anyone to know. So they love that classic like look where they, look like they have some mascara on, but it's not overdone. So we do things such as lash lifts as well for those that don't want eyelash extensions. It just makes their lashes curl on their own. Some people have, long natural lashes, but they don't curl, so we can make them curl. That's a service that they can get done every month. So it is a recurring service. And then if we ever got any pushback from a client, it was how long it takes for a client to get their lashes done. Our most popular eyelash extension service is called True Express. And, Jennifer Blair knew that not every client wants to, sit in the chair for that long. So she came up with a new method of doing the eyelash extensions that changed that time frame. So instead of 2 hours for a full set, it takes 1 hour. Instead of 1 hour for a refill, it takes 30 minutes. So she cut the time in half. But the way she did that is that she beta tests things in her own studio first. Makes sure, the lash artists get really good at it. And then she rolls it out nationwide. So that's kind of how she does any new additions to services or products. This has been a true game changer for us. Think about now a woman can come in and get her lashes done on her lunch appointment, Um, and some women, especially moms, I'm a mom, I can't give up like 3 hours out of my day for, a 2 hour, eyelash appointment and an hour between driving there and back. It's
Yeah.
just too much. So that's why we wanted to add this on, and it's been great. Um, the other service that we do is called brow lamination. So a lot of women are kind of feeling like, especially like for me, I overplucked when I was a kid. It was like in to have thin eyebrows. Well, now it's in to have thicker, fuller eyebrows. Well, I'm like, I don't have eyebrows now. So so the benefits of the brow lamination is it takes the hair you have, and you know how our eyebrows kind of naturally curl a little bit. It
Yep.
makes them go straight so you can comb them out. They look fuller. So now when I fill it in with a pencil, it just looks really nice and natural and full. Um, the alternative to this is microblading, which I have had done too. It's like that, it's a tattoo on your
Yep.
eyebrow. It's painful. There's no pain with this. It's quick. It can be done quickly. And this is a repeat service as well. We offer strip sugaring. So women, hair removal around the face. This is something we can do around the eyebrows, the chin, lips. So this is a nice add-on service. And then we did add on hydrofacial. So this is something we just added on June of this year. Um, about 18 of our studios have a hydrofacial machine since it's so new. But the benefits of the hydrofacial, for one, is that it does not interfere with the adhesives used for eyelash extensions. So all of our customers can get this. Um, Hydrofacial basically deep cleans and softens the skin to help loosen it for dead skin cells and prep for extractions. Then congestion from the pores get removed with a painless suction, and after that, the skin gets hydrated with intense moisturizers and nourishing peptides. We do recommend our clients get this done once a month. So this is not just like a one type of service that's offered with this machine. There's 15-minute under eye services. There's 15-minute lip services. There's full facials. There's a full facial with a boost. There's packages we offer with this machine. We don't, we want to see any new studios that open operate without this for at least 6 months and get really good at our primary services before they add on the hydrofacial machine. Any questions so far?
I've been writing down all my questions, so I'm waiting for you to get done, and then I'll go back and ask all the questions. Is that fair enough?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Um, our proprietary beauty products. So this is not all of them. We have a lot of different beauty products that we sell right in our studios, some retail. We do offer skincare now because skincare was good when we added on the hydrofacial, where the lash artist can offer that up, to someone that has a certain skincare concern. We've co-branded with a company called Hydropeptide. So now it's Hydropeptide Deka. And then we have our own, different things that we've created ourselves. Everything is tested in a lab. All of this is vegan. We do not test on animals, but we do have a special lab that scientists have created, these different things for our clients to use. Some of the things are there's the enhanced serum that can be put on eyelashes and eyebrows to help them, the hair grow. There's the finish, which basically protects the eyelashes for someone that works out a lot and swims a lot, protects them from moisture. And then there's polish. We do sell mascaras that are, okay to put on the eyelash extensions. So, again, it's all different beauty products that we sell. So the Customer Success Center is something we talked about, but that's basically where someone can book an appointment. They can ask questions. We do have a chat feature on our website as well, where someone can just go and ask a question with the chat box on our website. It does answer 90% of questions now. If it gets stuck, then one of the customer service representatives will respond by text. We have a Deka Lash app as well. That's how I book my appointments. If for somebody that doesn't really want to have to talk to somebody, they can just go in the app and book their appointment. It's really easy to use. And we have a virtual lash try-on. So these are just some screenshots of kind of what that looks like. So if you go to the website, the dekalash.com website, click on the services, you can virtually try on lashes to get an idea what kind of lashes you would like before you even come into the studio. Now, the lash artists are trained to help the client figure out what lash look they would like based on, they'll ask certain questions and, do you want like a cat eye? Do you want them more natural? Do you like them more fuller? Things like that. But this is just a fun thing to do. And then we found that some of our customers are screenshotting it and sending it to their friends and saying, hey, which lash look do you think will look best on me? And then their friends are starting to look at lashes. So it's also been a kind of cool marketing tool for us as
Yeah.
well. So this is what our franchise investment looks like. So for a single studio, it's $59,900. If you decide to purchase two, it's $97,900. So the second one goes down to $38,000. So it's $59,900 plus $38,000. So it's $97,900 total. And then if you buy a third, we reduce it down to $17,000. So it goes down with each studio that you purchase. And then what we do is we put you in that area development agreement, which just says you'll focus on opening one per year.
Yep.
So you can do things that way. You know, the benefit of doing it that way, what just means that your territory gets locked in as you're focusing on one studio at a time. If you decide to just do one in the beginning, and then potentially do more, more later, nothing's locked in, and you just kind of, you'll just see what's available at the time you're ready to move forward on a second. The second one will always be 38,000. The third one is not always 17,000.
Okay.
Okay. So
I'd
it's
imagine
only,
it depends on the location or whatnot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's if you purchase all three in the up front, or if if you wait on
Or
it.
you space them out. Okay.
Yes, exactly. We estimate the all-in, so we've seen people spend as low as 222,000 up to 476. That depends on your market and what size studio. That's your franchise fee and plus 3 months of working capital, your furniture, fixtures, and equipment, your construction in the studio, 3 months of your rent, kind of. So our next call, if you decide to learn more, would be to dive into the breakdown of what the all-in would be. And then our national advertising is 2% of your gross revenues, and then your royalty fee is 6%. So it's basically 8% in total is what you would pay us as an ongoing royalty fee. That's of your gross revenues.
And that's taken out what every month? Is that taken out at the end of the year? How does that get calculated?
I think they actually do it bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly? Okay.
Bi-weekly, yeah. And are you a veteran by chance?
I'm not.
Okay, well, we can skip over that. But if you signed with a partner that was a veteran,
I do
you'd
have
be able-
I do have veterans that would probably want to do this with me. So I mean, you want to just show me what that is? Oh, that's the
yeah,
veterans discount, 25%.
yep, 25%. Yep,
And that's of what? That's a 25% discount
of
of
the
what?
franchise fee.
Oh, of the franchise fee.
Yep, we would take that off the franchise fee. Okay. So who buys these franchises? A lot of people are like, what kind of people come in, to your, system buying these? We truly do have owners from all walks of life. We have some people that have been in the beauty industry and have a real passion for it. We have some people that were in the corporate world and were just looking for a way out. We have some people that still work their full-time jobs and, have a manager in place to run the business on the day-to-day basis and just use it to, increase their, revenues and their investments and all those things. We have business owners that wanted to diversify their portfolio. It really, just people from all walks of life,
Yep.
truly. And then we have two basic business models. So I think when I had spoken to you, you said you'd be looking for more of a semi-passive type option. Is that right?
What does that mean?
Okay, so semi-passive is really for someone that is looking to, kind of like be part-time in the business. Where you have a manager in place, they're running kind of the day-to-day operations.
Yeah.
You're maybe giving them a call once a day, just checking in, and then maybe coming in to meet with the team once a month type thing.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for.
Okay. So most of our owners do run their business that way.
Okay.
Yeah, most of them do not come in as an owner operator where they're there on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just not needed with this business. You don't have to be there every day. So a lot of times our owners will have a lash artist become a manager where they can be lashing the majority of the time, but take on some of the managerial responsibilities. And then we have some owners that have someone that just manages, like that's all they do. And so you'll get to talk to some of our owners. That is part of our process if you decide to take another step. Eventually, I would connect you with some owners so that we can talk to them about how they run their studios.
Okay.
So really the role of the owner, is to be the leader, set the values, be the person that establishes the culture and the behaviors, the principles. We need someone to motivate the lash artist. So if that's you or if that's your manager, someone to set goals with them, let them, help them feel as important as they are to the business and recognize them when they meet those goals. We have some owners that are so good with the culture, they set friendly competitions each month, like, whoever sells the most, of whatever product, will get, $25 gift card to this, or, it's just little friendly competitions, and like they'll have a whiteboard in the back to kind of, so everyone can see where everybody's at. And they'll do like, I've heard some of our owners will do like a nice Christmas dinner, even just at their house. It doesn't have to be at a fancy restaurant, just stuff to, you want to create like kind of like that family atmosphere, whether
Yep.
it's you or your manager. Um, and then really this last slide here is just to go over all the differentiators, so we have that membership model, which will bring you in the recurring revenue. Um, to be totally transparent, and you'll see this, this is the next information I will go over with you, but it is almost 50-50 our revenues between memberships and just people coming in as like a one-off. But our goal is to get those memberships because the recurring revenue is really what we're all about.
Yeah.
We have the call center, so you'll never have to worry about hiring a receptionist, training them, or ringing phones in the studio.
Love that.
Small footprint. You're not required to have a great big space. It's a nice open concept with the semi-private dividers. We have our app that has chat. It's super easy to check in and out. And then just a tech forward mentality. We have all the systems and metrics and all the things you'll need to know what your business is doing. Return on culture, like I said, is huge. I think people don't always, people want to get paid a certain amount, but they don't stay for the money. They stay for the way they feel when they work.
Yeah.
And then our Deka virtual lash try on. So that really concludes our presentation for today. I know it was kind of high level, but I hope to help you get a good sense of who we are.
Yeah.
And like I said, the next call is really going to be diving into those all-in numbers. So let's go over some of your questions and then see if you want to schedule our next call.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about. So I understand the revenue streams are going to be in my membership pieces. It's obviously in the lashes and some of the services.
Mhm.
I guess part of my profits would be in the cost of the lashes, right? So do I buy the lashes from Deka Lash and then I
Yeah.
mark up? Do you guys set the prices that I got to stick to? Can you talk to me a little bit about that piece?
Oh goodness, I've never gotten asked this question before. So you do buy directly from us.
Okay.
The price that so the tier of pricing that you will be on depends on your market. So like your membership prices,
Yep.
the membership prices, like the cost of the, lashes and all that stuff is that's all included in the membership.
Yeah.
So the tier is something that your franchise success manager, think of it like you'll get a business coach through Decalash that'll partner with you throughout the entire time you run the franchise. And one of the first things they'll do with you is help you set that pricing tier. So you obviously want to stay competitive in your market.
Yeah.
So you don't want to outprice yourself, but it's so that's something that they'll help you with.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that whatever I'm generating, if that's my most profitable product, then, am I paying the same price? So if I'm in Argyle, Texas, which is, there's a little bit more money there than there is here in Denton.
Hmm.
Am I paying the same price for the lashes? And then am I still making the same margin, or should my margin be a little bit higher because I can charge a little bit more down the street? Or do you guys set the wholesale price based off of where I'm at? And that's what I want to make sure, like, as I'm looking at this, because that's what my mind is thinking. I was like, well, that's my most money. I just want to see how much revenue I'm generating from something like that. Um,
So margin information is going to come from our owners,
mhm.
well, because part of what, unfortunately, with us being regulated by the Federal Trade Commission,
Okay.
is that we're not allowed to share margin information. But I do have an owner who kind of does a lot of the accounting for a lot of our owners,
Yeah.
and he's really good with numbers, and I will connect you with him.
Okay. So I appreciate that. And then chair rent. Do I, as I hire on an esthetician, are they paying a chair rent and then whatever they generate, or are they, so that would sound to me like a 1099 type employee as opposed to a W-2 employee.
They're
Um,
actually your employees. They're not contracted or renting a chair from you. They're just most of the owners will pay minimum wage plus they'll make their tips from their clients.
okay.
Uh, so full set tip can range, anywhere from 25 on up to $40 for a full set, and then usually recommended for refill is 20 to $30 for a refill. So they're making that on the, whenever a client's coming in. And then a lot of our owners will also pay commissions if they sell products or memberships. Not recurring commissions on memberships, just the one time if they sell a membership.
Okay. And the accounting part of that piece, do I set up, will I need to have my accountant set up something with paychecks that establishes that, and then do you guys have the software that tracks the hours? So does an esthetician come in, clock in, that tracks my hours, so that way my payouts are done correctly as far as paychecks?
Yeah, we have a system called My Time,
Yep.
that is used for, to track hours and things like that.
Yep.
That's our point of sale system as well. And
Okay.
then a lot of our owners will use QuickBooks, which ties into our software system as well. So we
Awesome.
definitely recommend using QuickBooks.
And then QuickBooks would be what would generate the paycheck also.
Um, Let me get back to you on that.
Okay.
You're asking me questions I've never been
I
asked before.
apologize. I
Oh, don't apologize. It's okay. I'm just going to take a little note here. I'm
Yeah,
going to
I just want to see, like, are we going to be writing a personal check out of the business checking account, or does
I
that
don't
just,
know if they're written out. I know I just don't know how they're generated or what system they're generated through. So let me get back to you on that.
okay? Um, uh, so I think the membership fee, I will work with someone that will help me out generate a membership fee that will be competitive in the market that we're going to set this Lash Lounge in. So,
Correct.
so
Yeah.
that will be taken care of when I go to that next part um, of that part. 35, 75, driving distance, 140 studios open. Um, if I have, does Deka allow me to have, let's just say I have an esthetician, I don't even think this is the same thing, but like a hairstylist that has like a book of business that wants to come in also. Like, is that something that we can tailor on to Deka also so we can offer lashes and hair? Or does Deka say you can only do lashes and hair?
DECA does allow for additions to the business, but there's a process in place for that, and there's an approval process in place, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Um, Hair is not something any of our owners are doing. I will tell you that.
Mm.
But there have been additions to like um the with the tattoo eyebrow,
Yeah,
things that like make sense to go with the business. I think they try to stick to like the face, to be honest.
yeah,
Um, but I mean, they're pretty open.
yeah. I only say that because of uh, my niece has a book of business and experience with stuff like this, and so she's probably the person I would say, "Hey, I want you to run this business for me. I just want to
Mm.
be the business owner, money. I'll track all that from a business perspective, but I just wanted to see like the openness to that. That's why I'm asking that question."
Yeah. And I do want to also go back to before we finish things up, I wanted to go back to I did look into your area
Okay.
since our last call too. So did you have any other questions though?
I do. Let me just see what else. So you said about the website. So you guys provide a website for me,
Hmm.
and then do you guys help me with? Is it my website? Is it just a Deka, a corporate website that obviously it sees from a geo perspective where the customer is online from, and then will send it to me, or do I run that website?
It's actually so we run the website, but you do have your own studio website.
Okay. And then through that, my own studio website, does that also create, or do you guys provide a point of sale opportunity there? Do you guys help me out with site traffic on that?
Yes. So and there's a call specifically to talk about this as well, but we are able to kind of generate any contact information for people who come to your website page through HubSpot. Have you heard
Yeah.
of HubSpot? Okay.
Yep.
So all of that, yeah, that gets put into your point of sale system and you get all access to all that information where we can keep or put out like different email campaigns and, different things like that to try to get them to come into your studio.
Okay. And then appointments can be set through my site also, or do they have to go through the main site
They can go through it. They'll go to your website.
to do that? Okay, perfect. I think I got all this. I think I'm pretty good with just about everything else because I had some of the franchise fees. Like, what is the franchise fee in particular? Can you tell me that? I know that it's built into the 222 minimum, 476 maximum, but do you
It's
have like
the 59,900 is the franchise
okay,
fee. Mhm.
and then do you guys help with finding my location for me? So you guys say, hey, you can do Argyle for say, I'm just saying a city here. So Argyle, do you guys say, help me negotiate out the price of the location, or am I in charge of going to negotiate the location and finding it?
So you'll want to find a commercial realtor in your area
Okay.
who will bring you different site options. But part of what I'll do is help you understand kind of what site location we're looking for. And then we have an actual onboarding. He's our onboarding and training director who will also walk you through that process and be there, with you as you're coming up with an LOI, as you're negotiating, things like that. I mean, every rent is negotiable for one, whenever
Yeah.
you see, yeah, you always want to make sure, but you always want to look at more than one location as well. And we approve it based on, certain demographics and kind of what we want to see of what we feel is a good location. So
Okay.
it's really just to support you through that process.
Okay. Um, all right. I think this is good information for right now. At least this kind of helps me figure out where I need to be, and then as far as how much do I have to have liquid at the time? So you're saying 222. Um, is that can I do half liquid, half loan, full loan? What are the stipulations you have on that?
We don't really have any stipulations per se. We do suggest that you have at least 100,000 in liquid and 450,000 net worth, but a lot of our owners do get an SBA loan or will pull out of their retirement,
Mhm.
depending on if there's, any penalties or what makes sense for your financial picture.
Yep.
So I do have funding partners that we have worked with that I would feel very comfortable giving you information on. And basically what they do is they will get your financial picture and let you know what you're pre-qualified for.
Yep.
Um, then if you decide to move forward, then they'll want some paperwork from you for proof of, your financial picture, so on and so forth. It usually takes about 30 days to get your SBA loan from the time you've submitted everything they need for it, just to give you an idea on timing.
Yep.
So I can send you over that information so you can make, a call and
That'd be
just
great. Yeah, if you
start
could.
getting that.
Yeah, if you could do that, that'd be awesome.
Okay. Um,
Um, and then, and I think you said this right. And that 222, 476, whatever that whole package is, that includes beds, the decor, paint. That's setting up the studio for wherever I'm located at. Correct?
yeah, and that's what our next call is to do, is really to dive into what all is included in that all in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, but I mean, generally, yeah, that's what's all included in that. And there's other things too. So,
Okay.
um, do you want to go ahead and get our next call scheduled?
I think so. Um, well, let me do this. Let me bounce this off Josie, because it would be something that her and I need to make that decision on. Let me just see if this is still in that wheelhouse of something that she would want to still go down that path on, and
Okay.
then we can go from there. But from a money perspective, it sounds like there's a risk in everything. I do believe that women would still do their lashes in a downturn of the economy. I'm always worried about that piece, and you guys seem to provide a lot of the things I'm kind of looking for.
Yeah,
Um, I was going to ask you. Oh, you said you had something you wanted to cover with me about
I do.
locations.
Yeah, so I'm actually searching for it right now. Give me 1 second.
All right, no problem.
Okay. So I did ask about the locations you were interested in. You mentioned Argyle, Texas and Flower Mound, Texas.
Yes.
And then you also mentioned you said Georgetown, South Carolina, but then you gave me a zip code of 29576 in
Yeah,
South.
which is probably Murrell's Inlet.
So it looks like the South Carolina one would not be an option.
Okay.
And that just has to do with the demographics aren't up to par with what we feel like a successful Deka Lash would, be in.
Yep.
Um, Closest to Argyle, Texas, it looked like, so Keller, if you're familiar with Keller,
I am.
and Westlake.
Okay.
I'll send those to you. And you can look at the map and then you can look at the demographics.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get those sent to you here soon.
Okay.
I just need to save them on my computer and then get them sent to you. Um, and I can briefly show you. Do you have time to look at them now? And
I do. Yeah.
I'll send them to you as well. Okay. So sorry if you hear, my bunny, I have a bunny and daughter talked me into getting this bunny and she's like going nuts right now. So if you hear her, that's
You're all good. I haven't heard her yet, so you're good.
all right. So this is Keller. So I guess I don't know how close that is to what you were, because
Yeah. I mean, it's not far. So zoom out a little bit.
okay.
Oh, you zoomed out on the whole picture. Zoom back in. I'm sorry.
Is that good?
Yeah. So this is considered what, the Keller region, correct?
Yes, this
Yeah,
would be, yeah,
Argyle is just north of this, probably on the other side of that 170 interstate you see there.
okay,
Yep. Yep. So just north of that
okay,
is Argyle, which this is still a very good area. So Keller is a good area for us because it's not far from where my daughter goes to school, and the clientele there is probably the right clientele for what you just pointed out.
yeah. Yeah, the demographics look really good too.
Yeah.
So like average household income is 119,321.
Yep.
And then um so total households 80,000, total population 225. But you can see that these are, the amounts of women in that age demographic. So we usually want to see 25 to 54. So this really meets the criteria
Okay.
that we look for. Um, so I'll send this one to you and then give me 1 second. I'll open up the other one. Okay, so this is Westlake, which looked like it was kind of not too far from, it's right by Keller. Okay. Can you see that okay?
Yep. Yeah, that's really, see Argyle up there.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
do.
yeah,
Okay.
Keller and this area here are like, they're all neighboring cities, but the money is from a Dallas market. That's a lot of money that's growing out west from
Okay.
here. So
Now, my guess, the reason why Argyle probably wasn't included is because see all this green area?
yeah,
We've got to get away from the green area.
yep.
That's just a lot
No,
of
this is
nature.
where people drive in from Trophy Club, Westlake, Keller, up to Argyle. Like the school there, it's a private Christian school. There's a lot of private Christian schools around here that,
Mhm.
and a lot of the baseball players and football players live in this market from the Dallas Cowboys, and
Oh, okay.
so
So those would be two options for you. So whether you were thinking of one or two, that both would be great. And then again, the average household income is even higher here. It's 176,000. And then the female population looks great too. So like I said, I'll send both of them to you,
yeah.
and you can look at them a little bit further and just kind of go from there. So, but that is something, those would be actual choices for you.
And how about competitors? Do you look at competitors in that market too? Like to say, hey, there's 75 other Lash places out in that market. Do you guys look at that?
The only two companies we consider competitors are Lash Lounge and Amazing Lash.
Mhm.
Um, so you could do a little research in the areas to see, if there's any in those two locations. My guess is there probably are, and that, that you're always going to have some type of
Yeah, yeah,
competition.
yeah. That's okay. I'm okay with that.
We don't consider, those small little, back of a salon,
Yeah.
those are not our competitors, they
Yep.
they really aren't. Okay, so let's go ahead and what's your calendar like for next week?
Let me see what I have. Oh, next week I'm in California. I'm with my sales team, and I'm taking my wife and daughter with me. So next week will
Yeah.
be really rough, and then we're headed down for Christmas. Wait, hold on a second. Next week, I'm wrong. I'm headed down. I'm in town. Let's see, jeans and shirt. It looks like no Tuesday. I'm busy. I'd say Thursday morning. I'd say anytime after 9 o'clock.
The 14th.
Yeah.
Okay. So I could do, you're on Central Time, right?
I am.
Okay, so I could do 9 a.m. or I could do 9:30.
Why don't we do 9:30?
Okay. And then I know you wanted to talk to your wife, so talk to her and let
Hmm.
me know, if you decide to cancel, that's okay.
Yeah,
But just let's get it on the calendar and then
yeah,
we'll just go from there.
that works.
Okay, let me just, okay. I have alex.acosta@coxautoinc.com. Is that where you want me to send this?
Uh, yes, yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Okay. Um, all right, sounds great. So I'm going to get you the numbers that we'll go over on our next call. I'll send those to you along with the two potential location options.
Yep,
And then my phone number will be in there. You can email me if you decide to cancel or if you need to reschedule.
that works.
All right. Well, happy Friday, and I'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Thanks.
All
Bye-bye.
right, bye.